Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the webinar on tools for the provision of agricultural information and recommendations to farmers. The webinar was organized as part of the implementation strategy of the Asian Knowledge Hub on Sustainable Soil and Land Management in the region that I'm briefly going to present to you. So, as mentioned, I have a few slides that introduce you to the hub. Just a second, and I will share my screen with you. I hope you can all see my screen. So what is the Asian, sorry, it's still loading. Apologies for that, but let me start. So the Asian Knowledge Hub on Sustainable Soil and Land Management was developed with the scope of facilitating the exchange of knowledge and experiences on sustainable soil and land management in the Asian region, enhance the capacity of individuals and organizations in implementing sustainable soil and land management practices, facilitate the identification of knowledge and technology gaps that can boost research and development activities, encourage the adoption of proven methods while inspiring innovation in sustainable soil and land management, and not last, support project formulation and implementation activities. In this regard, we see the hub as a driver for positive change in agricultural and environmental practices, as it currently reports on countries' original engagements to assess, monitor, preserve, restore, or enhance soil health over time, as well as United Nations contributions to the topic in terms of equipment, online applications, certification systems, training systems, awareness-raising
Yes,
systems, and others.
the screen is blank only. Sorry to
Yeah,
disturb you.
I know, but I'm starting it since it's just an introduction. I'm sorry, my connection is not very good. I'm very sorry for that. I had the same also at another meeting. But since it's just an introduction, I'm just starting so that we can continue with the webinar. And then I will pass you the floor, Brajendra. You are the first speaker on the agenda. So apologize for my bad connection. So as I was saying, the hub currently reports about country original engagements, but as well as United Nations contributions to all these topics I mentioned. And today you will have a hint on this, looking especially at. Okay, now you can see my screen, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I was at this slide. And today you will have an hint on some of these tools, especially in the context of field activities. The information were collected using a participatory approach involving the public sector, non-profit sector, academic and research institutions, as well as intergovernmental organizations. But overall, it's meant to support a much larger range of stakeholders that includes farmers and also the private sector. In this regard, if today you feel inspired by what presenters are telling you and by the concept of the hub and have something to share as well, please feel free to contact me because the hub is it's designed to be an open access live tools. So you can contact me anytime and we can work together on the inclusion of whatever you are developing or you have developed in the hub, and we can also have it presented to the community. The hub has the information organized into categories depending on their core scopes. So we have 5 scopes. Scope 1 is on soil assessment, monitoring, and mapping. Scope 2 is on policy. Scope 3 is on investment. Scope 4, that is the under which this specific webinar is organized, is on field activities. And Scope 5 is on communication. So today, our objectives are those of promoting capacity building activities and advisory services at the field level, exploring collaboration opportunities between locally developed and globally developed programs as well, and then also to collect information on existing advisory services for farmers in Asian countries for their better inclusion in FAO programs and initiatives, but also for integration with other initiatives at the country level. So please feel free to share your experience as an organization and as well as a country. As I mentioned, we will have time for all of this towards the end of the webinar, but you can interact with the panelists and the other participants anytime through the tools, the Zoom tools that I mentioned you before. Now, said that, I would like to give the floor to the first speaker of the day. Let me stop sharing my screen. To the first speaker of the day, Dr. Brajendra Prasad, Principal Scientist at ICAR Indian Institute of Rice Research in Hyderabad in India, that will introduce us to the soil health cards developed by and used in India. So, Dr. Brajendra, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Thank you, Lucrezia, and good morning to all of you. Should I share my slides now? Is it visible, madam?
Just 1 second.
Is it visible?
From my side, no, but I might have connectivity issues. Yes, now yes, please proceed.
Correct.
Yes, thanks.
Good morning to all of you again. And I am very much thankful to Dr. Lucrezia for inviting me to talk my experiences on soil health cards. So I hope in next 20 minutes, we will be coming to know we can develop our own soil health card also, unmindful of what are the cards available across the globe, across different countries. So some of the slides will teach you all how to begin with card. But before that, we must know what is the soil health card is all about. This concept has come when we are facing a lot of decline in soil health. An issue is now very severe. At UN level also it has been discussed, and in SDG goals you will see a lot, many SDG parameters discuss about this decline in productivity, sustainability issues, a number of SDG goals, they talk about these things. So this issue is being raised all across the globe. Why? Because we have not properly understood that what is there below the ground. My friends, we all of us came to know just 3 years back what is called a testing, what is called a card. When we all faced the COVID virus and we were queuing up to get ourselves tested. So card is nothing but your test report. But what for test report? Test report is about your soils. How soils we are using? In this slide, you can see a lot many land use systems. Be it your plain area, be it your sloped land, undulating topography, terraced land, or a hilly tract, or a very steep slopes. We have been minting it, mining it for our purposes. So the land use system you can see is indicating you by its sheer color, by its sheer openness, by its sheer loss of nutrients. This propels us to know what is basically our soil consists of. So once we are propelled towards knowing it, the land use system, the soil capacity, the fertility of the soil, and why some of the soils have lost their sustainability, then we go for a test. Your test cannot be, and soil health cannot be as good as how you do your soil testing. We have devised, several other people also have devised a lot of handheld tools, manual soil testing kits, then your rapid soil testing kits, then portable devices, then machine based. In this photo, you can see that one manual soil testing kit developed by us is being used for testing on the spot, in situ soil testing, and generating a card. Now, this soil health card is basically a vital soil health assessment tool. Once we went for our COVID testing, we waited for 2 days, 3 days, and we got our on CT value. That was your PCR diagnostic machine and gave the value of the level of virus infestation in our body. So that is similarly, you simulate this card to our soil. And this is the card is same as it will give you a vital soil health assessment tool, which evaluates the status of the health or the quality and will give you the vital components of that particular patch of land which you have tested. This approach is very meaningful as it will guide you for a proper soil health initiatives, programs, and schemes. And for a farmer, it is one very empowering kind of action and activity. Earlier, what was our soil testing based on our field method, based on our taste, touch, smell. We were grouping the soils as productive, unproductive, color based. We were grouping it, classifying it as, but slowly, lot many parameters developed, lot many indicators came up, and then we have a full-fledged soil health indicators. So the soil health indicators is basically integration of the physical, chemical, protein, and biological parameters. I'll now don't name it all those parameters. You can go and see any book in Google, also any FAO website, also you can learn. Now, this is what I had shown you. So first prioritize your testing methodologies and for your stakeholder, which kind of stakeholder you are going to test their soil samples. So, you know, for far-flung areas, deep jungles, hilly tract, where people are not able to reach properly, or there is a problem of current, electricity, you can use your manual soil testing kit, which we have also devised a lot of things. And then this is the first soil test card, Dr. Lucrezia, we had developed while I was in Mizoram, northeastern hill division part of India, very remote area. So you see here this card, how it looks like, and we made it online also. So that we were developing one concept of e-village during 2008, 2007, and 2006 to 2007 onwards. At that time, very simplified kind of card. What will be the name of the farmer, and you see his details, and then simply we categorize it to an interpretation system of the soil test and the values. And then you see, we taught our youngsters how to do this. This was the kit that time. In situ, instantly, and this was a bamboo base. Mizoram is actually the state where 40% of the bamboos come from in India, from Mizoram only. So bamboo based this kit I had developed at that time. So this enabled us a very simplified kind of soil test card, which you can also develop on your own. This was further elaborated, made into very elaborate kind of soil health card during 2010 to 15, and we came to develop online e-soil health card system. That was the first of its breakthrough, which was subsequently used by Government of India also during the 2015 International Year of Soils. They had launched one soil health card program, and in that program, see, before that, this was actually launched. This was online e-soil health card system, in which a colorimetric based interpretation system, but what I call it as a traffic light kind of interpretation system. Means what is the parameter tested, you put it, and automatically computer will generate it to 3 colors. How traffic light, everybody can understand what is the traffic light. So interpretation system is very easier. This was the card Lucrezia, was the first Government of India card, which was launched in the year 2015. And mind it, 220, almost more than 200 million farmers have been issued the soil health card in the phase 1 program of Government of India. So this was the card actually, which was a prototype card, which was given to all, and which was managed by NICNET during that time. So this program was very successful, and that led to our 2019, 2020, and 21, the phase 2 program of soil health card program, very ambitious program. It has been launched by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi Sahab, and this is the homepage of that soil health card website. Anybody can go and see. Many parameters have been tested. Now citizen has to be made aware about their soil health card and what it can contain. So very important thing here you are reading is that soil health card reduces your fertilizer use by 10%. That's a tremendous help to a very have-not kind of farmer. I'm sorry. So you see in this card website, there are many stakeholders programs are there. For school children, they have launched a school soil health program. For farmers, for citizens, for different stakeholders, many programs are being run. And the background I tell you about this is that, again, we came and introduced in our very marginal and sub-marginal small farmers. We had launched one program of IIRR SCSP program, in which I had developed in my office along with my other scientists, and one Krishi Tantra startup is there. They only made it online. They have a very expertise on IoT, AI, and they together work with us. And in this program, actually, this first 2022, this card was launched. This was why important was because they helped us in IoT based, automation based devices, and we gave them the basic framework of colorimetric estimations, and then the emojis are very much nowadays prevalent to all, and all of us are expressing our expressions along with emojis. Now emojis have been colored. Suppose that your soils are very high in parameters, then it will reflect green color. If it is low, then it will show you red. So easily anybody can understand. Similar card has been, the basic framework has been now adopted by Government of India. And I am very much proud to know that Krishi Tantra, our startup mentor, the startup is now doing, executing this program, launched, execute this program. And more than 5 crore farmers have been planned to be given to this kind of soil health card. So this, I hope that this card is very relevant, very easy, and subsequently, how I told you, will give you not only the interpretation of the soil made easy, but fertilizer recommendations also have been made easy. So our effort actually in the last, I must say that our effort should be to add sweet and happiness to what our fellow brethren are doing in a very difficult terrain, such as below the mean cell level farming, or above mean sea level, or 5,000 feet above mean sea level farming. So thank you very much, Lucrezia and FAO, that you have given me this opportunity to talk to you. I hope that I was relevant, and I am available to anybody who wants to meet me. And I hope that I have not crossed my time limit also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brajendra. It was very fast, which is great because now we can interact a bit with participants, and very good, very much to the point. I see a hand up, so I would like to, 2 hands up. So let me give the floor to Nilu Putuida. I'm allowing him to talk so he can interact live. Dr. Ida, would you like to take the floor? No, it was a fake alarm. Okay, let me see then. There is a question in the question and answer box about the financial resources for the Soil Health Card program. So can you please tell us a bit more about it, and also who is testing and collecting the data in the field?
Yes, correct. You see, the Soil Health Card program of Government of India is actually right now managed by Krishi Tantra, but before that, for the first phase, it was managed by NICNET. So what will happen is that first the government will announce that these many soil health card for a state, for a region, for a particular province, and then the state Department of Agriculture will indent it for that many soil samples will be collected this year, and they will register the farmers. And the for registering the farmers, all this will be automatically online, it is done. And then through GPS based sampling, means completely taking your entire field mapping. Now the entire field is mapped now, the very advanced level, and the soil sample is collected. For sampling and testing, 600 rupees have been given per sample right now, based on what kind of agencies have been involved, such as if the state government is involved, or the district level soil testing laboratories are involved, or the mobile vans are involved, or the individuals or the standalone soil diagnostic centers are involved. All these people will have different financial assistance from Government of India. That's why I told you, invoicing and giving your number of samples I will be doing from this many, and automatically card will be generated. That's why I showed you the last one. The last one is the latest one. You see this one. This one is actually the online soil health card. It is actually automatically will come in your mobile. It's not that you have to go and collect from your centers. So this is e-soil health card, and it will give you interpretation plus your this boxes you are seeing. It will give you recommendations also. All so what kind of crop you are taking, what kind of land use system you are using, and accordingly, based on your inputs, it will generate for you the recommendations also, along with the interpretations. So for this soil diagnostic center, 600 rupees have been given per sample, and that includes your sampling cost also. That includes your testing part also, but for government, district level or state level government, the cost will be more also. Why? Because they will be intending for thousands and thousands of soil samples. So that fund will be completely given by Government of India. It's 100% Government of India scheme. And right now, phase 2 program, 1,500 crore money has been sanctioned from Government of India. Is it okay? My replies?
I think so. But Healy, please let us know if Dr. Brajendra answered your question or if you would need of additional information. Meanwhile, I'm giving the floor to Sanaul Islam to ask his question live, please. You are allowed to talk. Hello?
Hello. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Bajendra Parmar. Thank you for your nice presentation.
Namaste. Thank you.
Okay, namaste. I would like to know stepwise. Can you explain stepwise how can we make it? First, for example, a farmer has sent a sample, we determined it, and then you put the value and then evaluated it according to the nutrient level. Then we categorize it, whether it is in low level or high level. Then a nutrient evaluation card is created, and then whether it is will be at the hand of the farmer or in the possession of the authority.
Very good. Sir, actually, I tell you in two different ways your solution answer of your question. First is actually the standalone cards. Suppose that a farmer has submitted a sample to you. If your laboratory is capable to analyze the samples for what parameters, suppose that basic parameters such as NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, or PHEC and carbon, or the suppose the detailed secondary nutrients also analysis you are doing, so the calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Suppose that micronutrient you are also doing iron, manganese, copper, zinc. Suppose that anionic macronutrients also are doing molybdenum and boron and chlorine. So this completes your entire fertility assessment of the soil. Now, a card can be for only four parameters. A card can be only for 2 parameters. A card can be only for 5 parameters, or based on the soil tested parameters your center is capable of. If your center is giving a standalone, collecting standalone sample, there can be a simple card, which in that card you will see that low, medium, and high. See which parameter you have tested. So according to you will be following one methodology. Suppose that I tell you available nitrogen, you are estimating it with alkaline Subbiah-Sija method. So that will give you, after analysis, the data it will categorize into low, medium, and high. The moment you have got, suppose that below 300 kilogram per hectare, if you are analyzing and your sample report is coming, it is considered as low. 280 to 560, or keep it 600 kilogram per hectare, it is considered as medium. And above 600 kilogram per hectare, it is considered very high. Suppose that your sample got 300 or 280, 290, then it will be put into low category. And then if it is in the low category, what is the fertilizer recommendation based on your low category of the nitrogen status? So that is a chart has been prepared, sir, based on the complete table, low, medium, and high. That is called STCR based or soil test crop response based chart, fertilizer recommendations. You might be knowing also. Now, this is one approach. Another approach is what is called automation. I told you that Krishi Tantra has a lot of expertise on IoT, AI, and they are all computer engineers only. So they tied up with us, and now they have tied up with Government of India. They are only operating this Government of India phase 2 program. And you can see also, you can meet them also, you can talk to them also. What they have devised is automation of your soil testing report. Previously, during 2010-11, I had also developed in RKMP, Rice Knowledge Management Portal, where in which online soil health card, suppose that your value you got 280, just enter the 280 value, automatically it will give you a colorimetric based interpretation system, red, green, or yellow, or it will put it into value into this kind of classes of interpretation system. And based on this value only, online soil health card generation system will develop your fertilizer recommendation also. If suppose that you are going to use rice crop in your land, or potato or tomato or anything, so that actually for that crop, particular crop, recommendations will be generated, and this card will automatically come in the mobile phone of that user or farmer. But that mobile has to be Android based, not that is standalone or low cost one. That will not be non-Android phone, it will not come. So Android phone which has an internet connectivity, anywhere you can communicate this card automatically it comes when registration will happen. At that time, itself name and other details I had shown you in the card. You see here, I will show you again. In this card, you see here. In this card, you see here. These green portions are your registration system. If the computer will ask you some particular, supposedly what is your name, your village name, your state, province, country, and then if you have the lat long value, or otherwise they calculate also, they will estimate also lat long values. Then your crop also they will ask you, and based on your this feedback in any parameters, the recommendations will be generated. Sir, I am okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your conspicuously explained answer. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Brajendra. Unfortunately, we have to pass to the next speaker.
Yes.
I apologize with Mr. Banuda's pen card, but at the end of the webinar, if there is time, I will give you the floor to talk. Meanwhile, if you would like to ask your question in the question and answer box, please. Because Brajendra, you have a lot of questions to answer. So
can I answer all questions?
Thank you so much. So please have a look at the question and answer box. You should see all the many questions that the participants have for you. And also I'm kindly asking them to ask the questions in the question and answer box, because there is one that is in the chat and I cannot copy paste it in the question and answer. So participants, please do it yourself because I cannot help on this. Thank you very much, Brajendra. It was great. I'm now giving the floor to the next speaker, that is Ms. Nataporn Prakonkep, Senior Scientist at the Land Development Department of Thailand, that will tell us about another type of cards, the ID-DIND card or land identification cards. So, Ms. Nataporn, the floor is yours. Thanks. Brajendra, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, I am answering. Wait.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
Can you see it's okay?
It's coming.
Is it okay, this?
Not yet. Just a second. Yes, now we can see it, please.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Lucasia, and hi, everyone. I'm Nataporn. I'm a senior scientist, work for Land Development Department, Thailand. Today, I would like to talk on the topic ID-DIND card. So for Land Development Department, we would like to give proactive customer service to our farmer. So we have a lot of knowledge and information for farmer, but unfortunately, all of them are in the different link or platform. So we get an idea that we're going to bring everything together. Then we launch our ID-DIND card project. DIND in Thai language is mean good soils. So ID-DIND card is a land or soil identification card which is pull all useful information together. So our farmer can use it easily. We start our project in 2019 and we collect a primary data and secondary data joined together in 2020. So we clean our data, then we put them into the same platform. In 2021, we start our soil health assessment. And in 2022, we have ID-DIND card in the digital card version. At the moment, we distribute our ID-DIND cards to our farmer, around 199,000 cards already. So our cards look like this. At the front, we have the good information for our farmers, their name, their surname, soil series, and the code number. At the back of our card, we have all the knowledge about soils. So our farmer can scan QR code and get all of that knowledge. And this is the flowchart to show how can our farmer get access to easy service system for ID-DIND card. So our farmer or our clients can use two ways. One is their mobile phone. The second is their computer. But unfortunately, they need to have internet to get access to this. So all the data is stored in LDD server. So this is all information that we have in identity card. We have 4 categories. One is farmer details, their names, their personal ID card, their sex and age. The age is helpful for the elderly farmer, so we can select the good technology for the elderly farmer, and also the member status and participation of our project activities. In Thailand, we have a lot of project activities for farmers, so we know exactly who gets some agricultural input or they get involved in which project. For the land, the important information gonna be our coordinates and land ownership. For example, if they own that land, they will want to improve their soils. But when they rent the land, this means they don't care about that much, right? And also for the soils, we have land use, land suitability, soil management, and soil analysis results. The problems also includes the disease or insects, and also like a water problem, the irrigation as well. We have cost benefit information and the advisor name. So we know exactly who look after this farmer because we have LED station for whole country. So we know exactly which staff look after this farmer. And also we have soil health assessments as well. We have the level of our soil health is excellent, good, fair, and poor. All the data, including soil morphologies like soil color, soil texture, soil structure, Garfield's rocks, plant nutrients, plant growth, soil biodiversity, and also we have soil management recommendation. We collect all of this data and we use all this data under data governance. The data governance divide into 3 sections. 1 is data policy, 2 is data governance team, and 3 is process. So they want to make sure that we protect our farmer details, for example, like their personal ID cards. And this is very important because everything is linked with their personal ID card and phone number. So we need to make sure that our farmer safe for all scammers as well. And this is a soil health assessment. We prepare the handbook and the form. In here is the form for our soil health, and we also have the handbook for our staff to use that handbook to take care of our farmer. So when we do a soil health assessment, we can analyze chemical, physical, biological properties. So for the chemical properties, farmer can use the result from our soil test kit or mobile laboratory or our laboratory. We have very high quality laboratory with past ISO as well. So to reduce inequality and better service, our farmer can send their samples part to our e-service as well. It means all farmers throughout the country can get soil analysis result. And if they don't get that soil analysis result, we have the baseline number for them to calculate the soil health as well. So after we got all the information and we have to interpret our data, we also have the interactive dashboard on our website to summarize all the results. For example, this one, you know exactly like at the moment you have around 1.5 million rice that have joined our project. And also we can see the problem, like the problem is some is for water or some is for soils, for example. And also a lot of problem is for irrigation system or their lack of water. So the most important for this information that everyone can use this information, or the stakeholder can use this information. For example, farmers can know their soil health, like it's good enough or not. For this dashboard, you can see we have good soils, roughly only around 12%. So this means a lot of soil that have to improve. And also for the researcher, they know exactly which area have the problem, so they can spot the problem and can conduct their research on that land. And also our policymaker can use this information. For example, in northeastern part of Thailand have a lot of poor soil. So if we want to give the input to the first priority should to go to farmer in that area first. And also for our LDD staff can know exactly what to do and who they have to help. And also some reviewer or committee, they have the process for grant approval. They can look exactly which area that they need to grant for farmers. So this is our work activities. Like we give identity card to our farmers. We transfer our knowledge to the farmer. We set the exhibition. We teach them how to use test kit, or we teach them how to check their soil health. When we go to do it, we go together and do together with our soil doctors, and always go with the team. So when we go to the community, this means we can teach a lot of farmers at the same time. And when we teach our farmer to improve their soils, they cannot see the money, they is not motivated. So because improving soil properties is something that intangible. So we have to create some moral boosting activities. For example, Model IDD Member Award, the outstanding organization who drive IDD activities, and also the best infographic and video clip makers award, for example. So for more information on our card, you can speak to us after the presentation or via email. We would love to answer your question. And also, if you want to contact you, please contact Gamalin. Her email is in the concept notes file. Thank you so much for your attention.
Hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So many technical issues today. So I was thanking you for your presentation, that it was excellent, and also thanking you for keeping the time, which allow us to have some discussion before passing to the next speaker. In this regard, I was asking participants if they have any question that they would like to ask you. They can raise their hand, yes, and I will give them the floor. We have a question. Vanya Kinutia, please, the floor is yours. You are allowed to talk.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. the two speakers from Kenya, Wanjakino, they're from Kenya. I just wanted to find out whether the two systems are actually linking with other researchers in the same area, on the same soil, to look at other microorganisms like this soil beneficial microorganisms and invertebrates. It will be very, very useful to see how these things are linking to yield. Thank you.
Right. For the biological properties, yes, it's quite difficult, right? So we have our concept is like do it yourself. So we for these properties, we're gonna do like count the insect and animal in the soils, and this organism gonna decompose our organic matter to go to the small molecules. And I think that's the key that they're gonna release all the plant nutrients as well. So when you check the soil properties, you have to check all together, like chemical properties is fine, physical and biological properties. I got one side of my study. The chemical and physical properties is perfect. But when I check for biological properties, it's extremely poor. So after that, we give the advice to our farmer to use our LDD product, like a microorganism product. And after that, it can increase our yield. So that means the biological properties, it seems like it's very important for the yield as well. Did I answer your question? But if you want to know for more information, you can go to the link, and we have the handbook that now we're gonna transfer it to English version for everyone can read and just understand what's going on. It's in the process, so should be sometime this year that you can use the same link to get it.
Thank you very much for the two speakers, Asante.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Nataporn. Also, in your case, there are some questions in the question and answer box that I'm kindly asking you to have a look at after we finish with the live interventions. Just for the information of participants, if panelists agree, because we are receiving many requests for it, I would like to share the contact information of all speakers so that participants can interact with you all as needed. Is that fine with you, Nataporn? Because we just received a question also for Tonga about it.
Yeah, it's fine. My email address is on the first page of my presentation, so just send it
Thank
to
you so much.
No worries.
Now let me give the floor to another participant that would like to ask you a question live. So Sanaul Islam, I'm allowing you to talk if you would like to ask your question or make your comment live, please. Sanaul? Can you hear us? You can speak. You have to unmute yourself, please.
What about now? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, Nathaporn, thank you for your nice presentation. My question is, if you can put the presentation in English version as you said, so my question is over. I got my answer. If she put her presentation in English version, will be probably my question will be clarified.
So it's about translating from Thai to English some of the parts.
Exactly. Thank you, Lucrezia.
Okay, Nataporn, is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, let me pass to the next speaker. Again, fingers crossed that I can share my screen timely. The screen is loading. While it's loading, if you like, Nataporn, can you maybe answer another question that it's about the benefits of stakeholders and willing ones in the program?
Oh, yes. So normally when the problem when we say we try to improve our soils, we have know the data. We only say, oh, it's good or bad, right? For when we have this information, so we can compare the first year, and after that we manage our soils, and in 1 to 2 years, we check our soil again. When we compare, we not compare just soil property, we compare yield and also the cost and benefit as well. So I think that is help everyone, like help farmer for sure, help researcher, and for policy maker as well. Like, okay, we adding this input, it's nothing happen or going worse, or it's better. So we have the right, and we can plan for the conceptual framework to work in the future to make the plan. So I think that's all the stakeholder can get the benefit from this big data to drive us to work correctly in the correct way. Yes, did I answer?
Thank you very much. So again, if you can please keep an eye on the question and answer box, because maybe there are some questions that we didn't address. Thank you again. Thanks a lot. Now I'm giving the floor to Ms. Jae-in Lee from the Rural Development Administration of the Republic of Korea for introducing us to the web-based fertilizer recommendation system e-News in Korea. So Ms. Lee, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Thank you, Lucrezia. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Jae-in Lee from RDA in Korea. Thank you for inviting me. Today, I will about this screen is not ready to start. Should I share my screen?
No, I'm sharing mine. You don't see it?
Yes, it is not working.
Sorry about that. Then if you don't see my screen, let me stop sharing. And
Oh,
you can
yeah,
share
yeah.
yours. You see it?
Oh, no, it is not working.
Okay, so I'm very sorry about it. So please, if you can share yours.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
It's coming.
Okay. Let's start. Okay.
If you can see your screen, please start.
You can see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I will introduce the web-based fertilizer recommendation system of Korea. Okay. This is the trend of fertilizer use in Korea by era. Before the 1960s, soil fertility was so low. So until the 1980s, we used sufficient amounts of fertilizer to increase crop productivity. Since the 1990s, we have reduced the amount of fertilizer used for environmental conservation because soil fertility and crop productivity has been improved by soil nutrient management. So currently, we aim to balance nutrients and use fertilizers accordingly. Soil nutrient levels of cropland have been increased by continuous soil fertility management. Soil organic matter, available phosphorus, and exchangeable potassium levels have been increased through the use of compost and fertilizers based on soil testing. And soil available silicate levels have been increased by continuous application of silicate fertilizers through the fertilizer distribution policy initiatives. In Korea, we adjusted fertilizer recommendations according to changes in soil fertility. To manage soil fertility and improve crop productivity, fertilizer use was increased until the 1980s, and then we reduced the fertilization rate to maintain the soil fertility from the 1990s onwards. Let me talk about fertilizer recommendation method. There are two methods, standard fertilizer amount and fertilizer recommendation based on soil testing. First, standard fertilizer amount reflects the average soil fertility of Korean agricultural land. And second one is fertilizer recommendation based on soil testing. It is adjusted fertilizer amount according to the nutrient status of each agricultural land. The right book is this is manual of Korea. In Korea, fertilizer amount is recommended by empirical equation for each crops. It is, for example, about paddy rice. This is the fertilizer recommendation by soil testing for rice. Nitrogen fertilization is adjusted based on soil organic matter and available silicate levels according to the target yields of rice. And the maximum equation rate is 11 to 15 kilogram per 10 hours. And phosphorus is adjusted based on available phosphorus in the soil, and potassium is adjusted based on CC and exchangeable potassium levels, and silicate fertilizer are adjusted based on available silicate of soils. This is the fertilizer recommendation for cucumber. The nitrogen fertilizer amount is adjusted on soil organic matter levels in the open field. And the greenhouse cultivation, nitrogen fertilizer amount are adjusted based on soil nitrate or electrical conductivity, EC, measurements. EC is significantly related to soil nitrate level in Korea. And phosphorus is adjusted based on available phosphorus, and potassium fertilizers are adjusted using the ratio of potassium to sum of calcium and magnesium. And I will introduce our web service system. We made the web system to provide the fertilization information for farmer. The name of website is Toran, which is Soil Information System of Korea. The Toran system provides physical and chemical properties of soils nationwide and digital soil maps. It also recommends fertilizers based on soil testing results of crop range. There are PC and mobile versions of the website, and agriculture extension center staff in each region and use this system to issue the fertilizer recommendation form. This system started for rice in 1991 and gradually expanded to other crops. It transitioned from a PC program to a web system in 2008. Currently, it provides fertilizer recommendations for 230 crops. To receive fertilizer recommendation, farmers should collect soil samples and submit them for analysis to nearby agricultural extension centers before crop cultivation. And the centers analyze soil chemical properties and register them in the crop system. We have 153 local agriculture extension centers, and they provide fertilizer recommendations for recommendation form free of charge to farmers. And farmers can confirm the fertilizer recommendation through a smartphone. This system consists of fertilizer recommendation models, farm information, like area, types of crops, and soil physical properties and chemical properties, and water management according to weather information. This is an example of fertilizer recommendation in the website. Soil testing results for 5 years are available on the Huktoram site, and farmers can find the fertilizer recommendations based on soil testing. Once crop-specific fertilizer recommendations are determined, the system recommends up to 3 suitable complex fertilizers based on the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium ratio. If farmers want to calculate the amount of the other fertilizer, they can change the types of fertilizer. And we provide various fertilizers, including organic fertilizer, liquid manure, compost, and for fertigation. The composition of the fertilizer recommendation form includes information about crops, cultivation area, and farmers at the top. And also we can find the characteristics of physical properties in this field. And below are details about soil analysis results, including pH, EC, and organic matter, available phosphate, etc., compared to optimal levels. And we can check the fertilizer amount, such as compost, lime fertilizers, and inorganic fertilizers by soil testing results. The fertilizer recommendation system is not only used for farmer consulting, but also for policy purposes. It is used as a guideline to encourage farmers to use the appropriate amount of fertilizer for agricultural environmental conservation. It shares fertilizer recommendations for each farmland to implement agriculture environmental conservation program policies. And also we try to link fertilizer sales system with fertilizer recommendations to guide farmers in purchasing the right amount of fertilizer. It is also used as document for soil fertility management for agriculture product certification. And it is also utilized as a standard for proper fertilizer use for carbon reduction in agriculture. And it also used as manure for livestock manure circulation. But we have also several barriers to the adoption of the fertilizer recommendation system in the real farm. Despite providing fertilizer recommendations to farmers through the Huktoram system, farmers still use more than 30% more fertilizers than necessary. So continuous education is needed for farmers to use the appropriate amount of fertilizer. But farmers also want information on fertilizer amount suitable for various cultivation conditions, including defined crop, fertilizer application methods, types of fertilizers, fertilizer use with biochar, and timing of fertilizer application. Therefore, the fertilizer recommendation system needs to be continuous, improved to reflect changes in agriculture practices. This is all I have prepared. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was an excellent presentation. And again, thanks for finishing it a bit earlier so we can allow participants to ask questions live. So
Yes.
please feel free to raise your hand and ask your question live. Meanwhile, I would like to ask you one question that was actually made in the question and answer box. How do you manage the fertilizer rates for in-crop rotation systems?
Yes, we have the empirical equation for many crops. We tested the fertilization rate from 1970s, and so and also we regulated the equation through the soil testing widget, and but the environment condition is changing, so we try to resetting the equation about many crops, especially minor crops, and you can see you can find the equation from my slide, this one, and we adjusted the nitrogen fertilization using soil organic matter and available silicates. This is for example. If you want to more answer, the time I will send email for panel.
Many thanks, Jae-in. Vanya, I hope this answers your question. If not, please feel free to contact Ms. Lee. We will share the email addresses at the end of the webinar.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, thanks indeed. Okay, I'm now giving the floor to the next speaker, but meanwhile, please feel free to, I'm talking to all participants, please feel free to keep on asking your question in the question and answer box. Thank you very much, Ms. Lee. Now I would like to go back to India and give the floor to Mr. Sri Pawan Kumar, Chief General Manager at the Patanjali Organic Research Institute, for telling us about the village nutrient map developed by his group. So, Mr. Kumar, the floor is yours. Thanks. Jenny, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Pawan, over to you, please.
Sure. Just give me a minute. So, can you see my screen?
It's coming.
Okay, just a minute. I think.
Yes, now we can see.
You can see my screen now?
Yes.
Just a minute, yeah, okay.
Not in presentation mode, but we can see it.
It is in presentation mode now?
No.
No, not yet. Okay.
Yes, now yes.
Now, So, good morning, good afternoon from India. Thank you so much, Lucrezia, and very learned presentations from the speakers earlier. It's wonderful to see all of them, Dr. Bijay and Natta particularly, who have been in touch. So I am now going to speak on the soil health card, which we have already gone into detail, but I feel that we have to do some more work is needed. Some more detailing is required. Some more work has to be done at a slightly higher level from the soil health card, status that we have been discussing. And I'll come to my slide. Is my slide moving? Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, okay. So we have already discussed the importance of soil health. We have discussed the importance of soil health card. Already various variants of the soil health card are already in practice and they are doing quite well. They have been digitized, and the soil health card provide a very customized recommendations for individual farmers along with the fertilizer application rates and for various crops. So we have also gone and done 1,10,000 soil sampling so far in one district, and based on that learnings, we have been able to, I'm presenting today. The premise is to simplify and demystify, which I have already tried to speak in my earlier presentation a few weeks ago on how do we simplify and how can we demystify this whole soil science, which seems to be a very complex and complicated thing, even for the scientists to visualize and also for the farmers to get hold of the recommendations, start using it. And so what are the bottlenecks that one faces? We'll be discussing that today and how we have tried to provide some kind of a prototype where it could be tried out in various contexts, various countries, various researchers can try to use the soil health card as well as the village nutrient map, which I'm going to share with you, is at the village level. So you have the soil nutrient, the soil health card is for the individual farmer, but based on our experiences where we covered around 200, more than 200 villages so far, where the 80%, 70% of the villages, of the village plots have been, tested and using a mixture of various physical and chemical properties, and also try to collate that data. So I'm talking of collation of the existing data, which is being used in the soil health card, and put it on the village level map. So we have tried to use the village level map as a method, as a methodology to share with the village level functionaries. So who are the village level functionaries? It will be your village level institution, which is whatever is there in our country. In India, it is the village panchayat, which is supposed to look after the village development activities. So you do the village mapping, and this on the left is a AI generated image, just for the sake of clarity of how it should be visualized. And so we have the soil kits also being seen, and somebody is explaining whatever the findings are. And then what has been done is that one tries to color code the plots based on if this is low, which means danger, what Dr. Bijay was saying on the traffic light, so mark it with red. And where the nutrients are medium or high, you mark it with green or any other color. And so the visualization of the nutrients of the village soil is something that I'll be sharing how it looks like. And so we have an application for the soil collection. There's the various locations which get collected, and somebody was asking how it is geotagged. So yes, it is geotagged, and every location, from everywhere, and there's a color coded soil collection bag which you can see on the left hand side. So you just use your application and you scan it, and then you are able to, this bag is a plastic bag and you just seal it, and it is a destructible bag. And it comes to the lab, it comes to the place where you having your soil testing kit or your laboratory facilities, and then you are also looking at the data at the back end and see how it is taking place. So the village level nutrient map is to engage with the community and with the key stakeholders at the community level, which is the village level. So maybe there's a workshop, maybe there's a community level meeting, and you use the soil nutrient map, and we print it in a big 5 feet by 3 feet, flex or a vinyl sheet. And at the time when we are using that data of the 5 nutrients which we have generated, we have also generated a sheet for the village specific details of how many farmers are there, how many plots are there, how many samples have been analyzed, what is the cropping pattern, and so on and so forth. And so at the village level, again, this AI generated soil health infographic, so that the village woman in our context are looking at the soil data or the village map very carefully and trying to get the interpretations along with the facilitator. So we discuss balanced nutrition, organic matter, we discuss the implications of crop yield, livelihoods, and so presented to the community and the farmers, and also not only the village headman, there may be the self-help groups, there may be the FPOs who are functioning. And so the influential people in the village community should be given an opportunity to at least see this map and come then thereby facilitating them to take informed decisions of the soil. And so this is this nutrient map, as I was showing. The color coding in the middle is for the 4 nutrients, NPK and organic carbon. For pH, it is much more varied, and medium, alkaline, and whatever acidic. And so it is also color coded separately. So as you say that the nitrogen levels in this village, this is an indicative representative village, so it seems to be very low. So the discussions with the village community and the influential people in the village community should be to ask them, are they this is the soil map, this is what it is indicating. Are you interested as the representative of the village to take corrective actions along with not only the farmers but also the line departments, the other agencies? There may be various agencies who are working. It may be NGOs, it may be other civil society organizations, it may be a CSR project which may be running, it may be the agriculture department or the horticulture department or any other department which has anything to do with the soil health, or whose mandate is to improve the soil, and it's associated things to make them understand and make them realize that the soil of not only the individual farmer but also as a village whose identity is there, for everybody's identity is there for a particular village, that is also in the red. So your traffic light is fully in the red. So you have to propel them into some kind of a corrective action, and thereby not looking at individual farmers, but looking at it very, very in a collective way. And so when you present the findings, so pH wise, how many soil samples, what percentage of it were neutral, and how many were alkaline, and how many were acidic. Organic carbon, the same thing. Organic carbon is low, 53% and 0.47%. So what are you going to do about it? What is your views? How you think you should be taking the steps to facilitate the farm? One side you have the farmers, on the other side you have these development agencies, and all of them have to work in tandem. Everyone should be working together in an ideal situation. If the situation is not ideal, what is it that the village headman and other people will be taking the responsibility of organizing workshops, organizing sensitization meetings, organizing various programs at the village level with the help of the various agencies, and bring this agenda of soil health into the forefront of discussions at the village community level. At the community level meetings, whenever the community level meeting is there, maybe there's a fair, maybe there's some mela, maybe there's some meeting where many people of the community are there. So even then, when they are discussing this, a 5-minute presentation of, not presentation, a few words by the village community headman and influential people will make a difference into the mindset of the farmers who are not, changing quickly. And as we see in the earlier presentation, even after all this effort, 30% more fertilizers is being used. So the judicious use of fertilizers is not happening. And the agencies who are selling fertilizers or who are providing other, chemical inputs are already doing the marketing at their own pace. So we have to also look into that and try to see what we can do. And so the recommendations for the village headman is the awareness of soil testing at periodic levels. Village level meetings are there, and the importance of this thing, and various governments and other agencies, they need to be contacted, and they need to be informed that our soil health of the villages in the decline or it is not happening. So kindly help us, kindly organize a meeting where the farmers can be involved, and they can be involved in various ways. It is not only talking of soil health that we need to inform, and what are the good agricultural practices that need to be taken. So when the farmers are discussing, they should be discussing the good agricultural practices related with soil health. And so I'm just putting in a QR code, for example, where the good agricultural practices, maybe there's a video is there, maybe something else is there. They can all be put as part of the QR code and facilitated. The farmer should be facilitated. And when I'm speaking of farmers, I'm not excluding the woman. When many this thing we talk of farmers as men only. So I'm specifically targeting and looking at the women, because they are the ones who are going to change. They are going to ones who will bring about the change in a more sustainable manner. And also at the same time, I'm not excluding the children. And the children who are there in the village, the schools, they should be given an orientation of soil health in their respective schools. And thereby they should be facilitated with the help of their teachers, of course, to carry these discussions at the family level. And when they start going back home, not everybody will be able to do it. Maybe some of them will be able to do it. So you bring them back into their feedback of what the family is thinking on soil health becomes very, very important. So use the woman, you work with the woman, you work with the children, and you bring this discourse on soil health at the community level, at the family level. And then I see that there is some hope. Otherwise, many other things are taking over. So I'm just sharing the good agricultural practices and what are the benefits. So these things need to be explained and shared with the community, the women and the children particularly, and anyone who's interested in good agricultural practices, soil health related good agricultural practices, thereby leading to some kind of positive change at the community level. Okay, so this is the soil health the village soil nutrient map, and there you can also see the village soil health, the soil health card also being distributed, circulated at the same time in the same meeting. The discussions are happening. I'm not saying that once we do this exercise, everything will happen even at the first round. Maybe this needs a continuous effort. It needs continuous banging on people's psychology, continuous banging on the awareness, and maybe testing after another few cycles, few crop cycles. Again, the testing has to be there. The improvements of the soil productivity and the soil health, and improvement in the crop yield with less use of fertilizers. All these things need to be discussed from time to time, and this discourse and this narrative has to be built up. And so we have discussed the benefits of the individual soil health card, and which is the customized recommendations and decision making for farmers. But the village community soil nutrient map, when we are doing, so there's this visual awareness. Okay, my village, this is the visual, this is how I'm visualizing my village. My village is in the red in some of the nutrients. So the education and the narrative is being built up. The capacity of the various segments of the society are being built up. The government can benefit from these learnings as focusing their efforts and their proper resource allocation, and also in terms of the long-term soil health, slightly long-term understanding of how we can foster collaboration, we empower farmers, and we can contribute to sustainable agriculture. Okay, so this is how we are looking at it. So again, this AI generated images there, where we are trying to visualize how at the village level, with the participation of various stakeholders, we are able to make a dent as far as the soil health and its associated issues, challenges, opportunities in a particular village, or even an ecosystem, even the farming system which is there. So this village nutrient map may be reflecting on a particular village, but I feel if you expand it and we cover the same farming system and the same agroecological zone by collating the data of several villages together, we get a soil map of a farming system, and thereby I think the government, maybe it will be very useful, and the data can be digitized now. It is being digitized by Krishi Tantra and the ministry. You can use this as a module to take it further and move ahead. So this is all from my side as far as the soil nutrient village level nutrient mapping is concerned, and I look forward for comments, suggestions, and so over to you, Lucrezia, now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pawan. Again, we have a few minutes for questions, if anyone wants to ask them live. Meanwhile, I would like to ask you a question from the question and answer box. So do you plan to test the soil micronutrients and soil biomes?
Yes, I think they have to be integrated over a couple of in the next cycle. The improvements will be there, where we are integrating the physical and the biological properties. In my earlier presentation, I had already shared this composite soil health card, which is there. So that gives a good picture and understanding of how the soil this thing, and to collate the thing together. I think we have to find a way where it can be done very easily, and maybe over a period of time. It is not impossible. It is something very much doable, and we should be doing it along with the other digital technologies and the digital means. What I feel is that the understanding at the village level of for even this basic parameter of the soil chemical analysis needs to be the first step, and gradually over a period of time, when farmers start moving towards sustainable agricultural practices, the other things can also be integrated. Even the first step is, it's a major task in some farming systems, especially where you have the monocropping and the green highly green revolution technology based farming systems, where we have currently undergoing. It's a very difficult job actually to convince the farmers that a changing from one set to another set, where they also probably have to do a bit more labor, is also one of the bottlenecks that we have to see. So first level, the understanding. The second level is, of course, once the understanding gets developed and we are able to find the farmer champions who are practicing and starting to use these sustainable agricultural practices along with the other things that we are doing, maybe then using them as a case study, I think we can definitely move forward. And we use that thing that this farmer can do it, why can't you do it? That kind of thing. So I'm not trying to jump into this whole thing of getting into everything together and making everything perfect. But I think it will evolve over a period of time. But in those farming systems where the farmers are already using sustainable agricultural practices, and also they have been oriented on the soil health through the other practices of physical and the biological mapping. Yes, it will be easy over there, and I'm in the process of making another composite card at the village level. So that will be the next step actually, to take it at the at the village level. So the composite soil health card was for the individual level farmer. The second step will be the composite soil health card at the village level, or maybe at the agro-ecosystem level. Thank you.
Perfect. And last question, how frequently the soil health test is repeated?
So I think most of my colleagues who are there every 2 to 3 years, the soil chemical testing should be, repeated so that you have your baseline first, and then you start off with your, repeat and see the difference. The purpose is, and there also I think we need to create what is the difference, what difference has it made. So after 2 years, after 3 years, the same nutrients, same soil, same methodology again tested, and you have a comparative soil health card for the farmer, showing that okay, this is the progress that has been made in organic carbon or nitrogen or pH or whatever be the case, and so maybe some kind of another set of things can be thought of along with that. But the discourse at the community level, at the village level, is I think the key to tackle many of the challenges and make it part of a public movement where the farmers are not so much dependent on only a government scheme or a policy, but also that the community members take some responsibility of understanding and taking some corrective actions. Some of it may be voluntarily, some of it may be through the government schemes and programs, but it should not happen only through the government schemes and programs. That's what I feel, because you lose out on the purpose, and the village community thinks that it is free of cost. It is something it should be. So the spirit of volunteerism should also be inculcated whenever this thing is there, and we should not be in a hurry that we have to achieve certain targets and we finish off things and making people even more lethargic and dependent on this whole thing. So that is the basic of understanding.
Thank you very much. We take a question live and then we pass to the next speaker. Jegan Sekar, you have the floor if you want to ask your question live.
Nice presentation, sir. So I would like to know how the sample is analyzed. Like it is in the private lab or with the government tie-up, or is it the own lab? And how easy it is for the farmers for the accessibility.
Okay, so the soil health card we are generating, we are sending it through messages, through customized messages there, where he gets it with the help of a PDF document into his mobile phone. So that is, we are also doing physical distribution. Physical distribution is much more difficult, but the electronic and the digital, this thing is much more easier. We are using soil health, soil kit, soil testing kit, which we have also taken help of Dr. Bajent a couple of years ago. So that way we have integrated, and also some more developments of using slightly better machines is also under progress. So we have used the soil health kit, and we have also tried to validate through our own laboratory of random samplings happening in the villages, and the applications give us a very digitized information of every plot of land, every details of the ownership, the testing process, when the sample was collected, when it was tested, when it was distributed, who did that collection, who did the testing, who did the distribution, and so on. So I think that answers your question, Jagan.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And Pawan, can I ask you to please have a look at the question and answer box, because there are some colleagues that would like to get in touch with you, so they're sharing their information.
I'll do that. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thanks again for your good intervention, and thanks also to all participants that are joining the discussion and asking their questions. Last but not least, I would like to give the floor to the last speaker that is from Indonesia. I'm talking about Ms. Anisa Noyara Ratchamsari from the Indonesian Institute of Agroclimate and Hydrology Standardization. That will tell us about the SI-KATAM Terpadu. Sorry for my bad pronunciation. And in other words, the integrated cropping calendar information systems used in Indonesia. Ms. Ratchamsari, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucrezia. Can you already see my screen?
It's coming. Yes, now we can see.
Yeah, I hope it is on the presentation mode now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anissa Naviara, and I'm from the Indonesian Institute of Agroclimate and Hydrology Standardization. And I'm grateful to share with you today about the innovation that we have in the Ministry of Agriculture in Indonesia. This innovation is called Integrated Cropping Calendar Information System, or in short, ICCIS, or in Indonesian, we call it Kalender Tanam or KATAM. So this information system basically provides recommendation of planting time or planting schedule for the farmers, as well as for the fertilizers dosage, the seed varieties option, and also the agricultural machinery. For, as I mentioned before, for farmers, our main users, but also for the agriculture extension workers that work closely with the farmers, and also for the other related stakeholders, mainly for the decision making. And this recommendation is available for the 3 staple foods that we have in Indonesia, which is rice, corn, and also soybeans. And besides the information about the planting practices, we also provide information about the impact of climate change in the agriculture sector. So it covers the agricultural risk due to flood, droughts, and also the pest or disease attacks. For now, the information system provides recommendations that covers all the provinces in Indonesia. And we have more detailed information for sub-district level. So we cover around 7,200 sub-district level in Indonesia. And because of this characteristic, the system is integrated and also dynamic. And you can all access the information freely at our website at katamterpadu.info. This information system basically processes a set of data into a set of information. As you can see on your screen, the data includes the rainfall precipitation prediction for the couple next month. And we also have the soil nutrient status. And we also have the rice field standard area and historical data of the staple crop damage. The algorithm of this information system is then process all those data into the recommendation that I mentioned before, including for the planting practices and also about the agricultural risk that is made from the climate change impact. ICCIS has been developed since 2007, basically to help the farmers and also the extension workers and also the policymakers to be more adaptive and to be more climate resistant. And lately, we were awarded as the top public service innovation by our own Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform. And we were also nominated as the Indonesian representative in the United Nations Public Service Award for this year. And beside the information that you can access online in our website, we also have the offline version of this recommendation that I will show you later. So firstly, here you can see the website interface of ICCIS. You can see there are menus, some menus available on the website. And here that is being shared to your screen is the main menu, which is the Kalender Tanam or the cropping calendar itself. Under this menu, we have some sub-menus where you can choose how you can see the recommendation. So we have the interactive map, we have the interactive data, the graph, and the others. You can zoom in or zoom out the maps to see the more specific recommendation in the sub-district that you choose. Or you can also select the administration area in the box on the left side of this website. And then the recommendation and the more detailed information will appear on the right side of this website. And here we have the offline version of ICCIS that we call Info BPP. So to obtain this, you can actually download this Info BPP as in the one of the menu of the website. So you can input the name of the sub-district that you want to know, and then the system will then summarize all the recommendations about the planting practice as well as the agricultural risk into this one file. This file usually used by the agriculture extension workers that work closely with the farmers on the field. So they might have a limited internet connection. And in this slide, I want to show you about the collaboration necessary to develop this information system. You can see there on the data input, we are not only relying on the Ministry of Agriculture, because we also rely on the Meteorological Bureau, the Statistical Bureau, and also the Geospatial Information Agency to obtain those inputs such as the climate prediction, the rice field area, and also the admin map. As for the supporting input, about disaster, about the seed variety, the fertilizer dosage, we also obtain the data from our brothers and sisters in the Ministry of Agriculture institution. And we here in the Agroclimate and Hydrology Standardization Institute is then process this data because we are the manager of this information system. And when we have the output, the recommendation will then disseminate it into the user. So the users include the policymakers in the national level, in the regional level, and as well as the farmers and also the agriculture extension workers that is the main user of this system. And we sometimes also share the info for the universities, for the research institutes, and basically anyone that wants to know about the cropping calendar. So ICCIS is actually one of the actionables that need to be taken by the government of Indonesia to deal with the climate anomalies in agriculture sector. As you can see on the box there in your screen, the spirit to develop this information system stems from the observation that climate change is the planting times and increases the agricultural risk. So by developing this information system, we hope that the farmers and the other stakeholders that related to the agriculture can align their practices because of the changing climate. And by doing so, we hope that we can maintain the productivity of our agriculture products. And of course, it is in accordance with the achievement of SDGs, especially for the goal number 2, the zero hunger, and then goal number 13, the climate action. And here you can see the impact of our system, where we can measure through the productivity of the crops that we have, which is rice, corn, and soybean. As you can see there, there are numbers of productivity rate. For rice, it is 5.7. For corn, it is 4 ton per hectare, and for soybean, it is 1.7 ton per hectare. These numbers are all above average of the national productivity of each crops. So it shows that there is a significant increase on the productivity for the farmers that using the recommendation from ICCIS compared to the farmers that who do not using the recommendation. And you can see there also the coverage of this information system is increasing from time to time in accordance to the expansion of the sub-district number in Indonesia. This system has undergone like different implementation from various versions from year to year. And from the lesson learned that we have, the principle of ICCIS can be adjusted or replicated into other innovation as well. So for example, in 2019, we have cropping calendar book for 14 plantation commodities. And also the principle that is used in ICCIS is also being utilized by a mobile app called Petani and RITX that is developed by a private company. And in 2020, we have Siramika Buntu, which is an information system about the cropping calendar for 10 plantation commodities, and also SysCrop, which is an information system that can monitor the rice growth rate. And then lately, the latest one, the principle of ICCIS is also being used in the development of early warning system called Sikantara, which is more about the horticulture planting management. And throughout the years, we also observe some strengths and also weaknesses or the barriers that we have in the implementation of this system. For the strength, we are grateful that we kind of hit the objective for the ICCIS because it really helps the farmers to maintain their productivity, especially during the climate anomalies periods such as ENSO. And it's also supportive for the policymakers, so it can help with the distribution of the planting capital that is necessary for farmers in necessary regions. As for the barriers, firstly, we observe that the update that is needed by this information system requires quite extensive efforts in terms of personnel and time. As you might remember before, the data input itself is actually quite large. So yeah, it is quite a struggle to update this system. But we actually try to address this problem because we are now developing the newer version that hopefully can address these difficulties in update this year. So yeah, we are still working on that newer version. But then we still also have the second point in the barriers, which is about the need of national scale validation to check on the quality of the predicted information. Previously in the impact part, the numbers were only from around 10 provinces in Indonesia, and we have now 38 provinces in Indonesia. In order to ICCIS can become a guideline or a go-to for the farmers as a tool to help them decide the planting time, we need to check the recommendation, the quality of the recommendation by having the validation in all provinces in Indonesia. And here you can see the journey of this information system from 2007, which was not yet an information system. It was in form of atlas and books, and they are island-based. And starting in 2011, we transformed into website and mobile app system. And in 2014, we added a feature called standing crop, where we can monitor the growth phase of the rice, and it is very useful to understand to estimate the stock for the national rice production in the next couple of months. And actually in 2020, this feature, the standing crop feature, is separated from ICCIS, and it becomes its own information system. As you might remember before in the replication slide. And for this year, we are currently trying to integrate a method called the crop water balance in our system. So for the newest version, we still have the main menu, which is the cropping calendar, but we also added the water balance menu where we consider also the water source, the irrigation water source from the surface water, such as rivers and lakes. So it's not only coming from the rainfall. And the users here can see the calculation of the water availability, the crop water requirement, and also the water balance in this new system that we still try to develop. And for the infrastructure, beside the fertilizer dosage and the seed varieties, we also added supplementary irrigation for the time that it is necessary to have supplementary, such as during the drought or the dry season. And we still also have the risk management menu, which is more about the agricultural risk due to the climate change. And we also add a supporting menu, which is more about access for the farmers to have a more sustainable agriculture practice. So it is about the location of seed producer, the location of fertilizer kiosk, and also the location for the agriculture offices near the farmers area. And yeah, I think that's all today that I can share with you. You can always ask any question or inquiries in our social media as shown here. And of course, after this, we have the discussion by help of our moderator. So thank you everyone for the attention, and back to you, Lucrezia. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Anisa. It was a very good presentation. I have a question, but before that, I would like to ask participants if they have any question for you. Again, please, you can raise your hand and write in the question and answer box. While waiting, I will ask you my question. So my question is there any plan to also look at other parameters related to soil health? Like, well, also over the other presentations of today, we heard a lot about soil biological parameters and soil microorganisms. Are you also planning to consider these? And another question still related to this and related to risk management relates, for example, to soil erosion. Do you have any plan to also include or consider the risk for soil erosion, considering also the topography of Indonesia? Thanks.
Yeah, okay. I will try to answer to that question. So this cropping calendar stems from our institution, which is the task is has more focus on agroclimate and hydrology. So that's why it relies heavily on the climate and water part. But we get help from the soil institution that is also our neighbor in the Ministry of Agriculture. So as for the fertilizer, for example, for the fertilizer recommendation, we get the calculation from them. So it's not from our office. And to be honest, I don't have the capacity to share with you with the recommendation calculation. Because it's funny, I realized just now when I start hearing all the speakers, it is basically all from the from the aspect of soil science, but for us it is more from the agroclimate and hydrological science. So yeah, it is different. But yeah, I mean, if you ask about the plan, for now we are still using the recommendation that we get from the soil institution that is also our partners, but we update the recommendation. When they have new recommendation, then we will implement that in our system. So you can say that our information system is more about the display of the fertilizer recommendation. We don't really calculate ourselves the recommendation because we obtain that data from the others. But yeah, we are communicating. We have a well-developed communication with them. And for the same also applies for the soil erosion, because we in our office we do calculate soil erosion in some activities, but for now to integrate the calculation into this national scale information system, we still have no plan to integrate that, because I think the limitation is on the data necessary to calculate the soil erosion in national level. We might have planned on that, but of course, we need to also have partnership with other institutions as well, because yeah, we are, as I mentioned before, we are more focused on the agroclimate and hydrological science currently. But yeah, I think that's a great advice from you. So thank you for asking the question.
Thanks to you for asking. I see a hand for answering, sorry. I see a hand up. I'm now giving the permission to talk to Nurul Islam. Just a second. Okay, Nurul, you should be able to unmute yourself now, please. We cannot hear you yet. You're still muted. Nurul? Okay, let me ask if there is anyone else that have a question. Okay, now we should be
Yes.
able to hear you. Okay, yes.
Okay. Hear me, Lucrezia?
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you for your cooperation. I have a question, Anisha Noyara. Thanks. At first, thanks to her. A nice presentation. How can you fertilizer recommendation recommendation in farmers level in your country? But Bangladesh have another system. After soil test, we provide the fertilizer card in farmers. But your country, how can you fertilizer recommendation system?
Okay, let me confirm to you first. Are you asking about how the fertilizer is being distributed to our farmers in Indonesia?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so of course the farmers usually buy the fertilizers by themselves in the fertilizer kiosk that we have in all area basically. So in each village there are usually more than 10 fertilizer kiosks, and it could be like the small one or like the more industrialized one, so the large one. But also the Ministry of Agriculture have the subsidy that is given to the farmers that is registered in our program. So during sometimes, especially during the start of the planting periods in Indonesia, the government will distribute the fertilizers to the farmers using these fertilizers kiosks that I mentioned to you before. So yeah, the farmers basically can obtain the fertilizer through two ways. So the first, they can buy it themselves in the kiosk, and then they also can get subsidy from the government for the fertilizers. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Just another question. Which method is used for recommendation? Laboratory analysis method or online system?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Which method is used for recommendation system? In Bangladesh, our laboratory system, we collect soil sample from farmers field and then analysis, then farmers, we prepare the card for farmers. And another method is online system. You can search and you push the some information, land type, crops, name, variety, then you can apply. You can get a fertilizer card, online system. But in your country, which method are used?
Yeah, so in Indonesia, we also use both methods, the online and offline method. For the online, we have like an information system called Simluhtan, which is basically can be accessed by the farmers as well as the agriculture extension workers that can help them to register themselves so that they are registered and then can get the benefit for for example, for the subsidy of fertilizer or the seed. So it's online and it is managed by our own Ministry of Agriculture. And also for the offline system, the farmers can go to the nearest agriculture office, and we have the agriculture office in all levels, basically in all level of administration. And the smallest one is in the village. You usually have one agricultural extension worker in one village, and the farmers can go to his or her or they to asking for help to be registered to get a card, like an ID card, to be registered in the program so they can get the benefit as being a member of that program.
Thank you for your nice answer. Thank you, Lucrezia.
My pleasure, and thanks to you for your intervention. I'm just reading in the chat that in Bhutan, there's been a number of initiatives. They just launched their soil atlas, but also they just launched their third version of fertilizer recommendation guidebook. This is just for you, for the information of you all. Before closing the webinar, I would like to ask you all if you would like to take the floor. This is especially for participants. If you would like to take the floor and share on your experience on the topic or your country experience on the topic, as Dr. Nurul just did from Bangladesh. Do you feel like sharing anything with us before we close? You can still do so afterwards by sending me an email, and if we collect enough inputs, I will also be able to give you the floor in a webinar, so you can take the floor as panelist in that case. Okay, if not, I'm happy to close the webinar in time. Once again, I would like to thank all speakers, all panelists for their very good presentations. They were super interesting, and also many thanks for answering the many questions that participants asked. That's also a reflection of the good quality of your work. So congratulations on the work of you all. I would also like to thank all participants for having been with us today. It was great to have you. Thanks for all your interventions, and we hope to see you at the next webinars. Please don't hesitate to contact us in case of question. As mentioned during the webinar, by the end of today or by tomorrow, the latest, I will send you follow-up emails with the links to all the presentations, the link to the video recording that is also available on the CESRA website, and I put it in the chat, and also the contact, so the email addresses of the different speakers, so you can engage into individual discussions with them as needed. I thank you once again, and I wish you a very good rest of your day. Thanks and bye.
Thank you, everyone.